Namaste. There was a question on my timeline a few days ago about Tyagaraja and Purandradasa. We all call Tyagaraja and Muthuswami Dikshita and Shama Shastri as the Trimurti of Karnataka Sangeeta. And Purandradasru is always called the Pitamaha, Karnataka Sangeeta Pitamaha. The title, by the title Karnataka Sangeeta Pitamaha for to Purandradasa, we should not assume that there was no Sangeeta or no Karnataka Sangeeta before Purandradasa. There indeed was. The Haridasas gave a kind of a new treatment to some of the Tala complexities, thereby making some of the folk talas into traditional Shastriya talas. So that was one of their biggest contributions to Sangeeta. Before them, the Tala Paddhati or the scheme, the rhythmic scheme of Sangeeta, Karnataka Sangeeta was quite complicated, or it was in kind of transition, we can say. Although we call Karnataka Sangeeta and Hindustani Sangeeta today, these names did not exist during the time of either Purandradasa or not even during the time of Tyagaraja. The names came probably after Tyagaraja to describe what our South Indian music is as Karnataka Sangeeta, because the whole area was under the Karnataka Samrajya of Vijayanagara, as well as most of the Lakshanikas or the treatises of Karnataka Sangeeta were, or if not most, a bulk of them were written in what is Karnataka today, right? Starting from the times of Matangas Brihadeshi to Sangeeta Ratnakara, and then probably one of the last important text, so to say, was written in Tanjavur, what we call Sangeeta Saramrita. That was written sometime before Tyagarajaru. And that's not obviously in current day Karnataka. But there is a very deep connection between the Karnataka kingdom of Vijayanagara to the Tanjavur Nayakas under the earlier Chavappa Nayaka and his dynasty, as well as the later Marathi Nayakas. So that apart. So now, how do we know if Tyagaraja knew Purandaradasa or other Haridasas? So this text called Sangeeta Saramrita, written by Tulaja, a king of Tanjavur, who was a few decades senior to Tyagaraja, we can say, is a very important text that gives how the music was at the time or just before Tyagaraja. So we see the names of many ragas which came into being during Tyagaraja in Sangeeta Saramrita. Another very important thing Sangeeta Saramrita gives us are compositions of Haridasas. So how do these books work? I mean, as you know, music is a performing art. So no amount of describing something, describing a composition, describing a raga is equivalent to actually singing that raga, right? I can talk 1 hour about a raga called Mohana, but it will not give you the idea that I can just give it by humming. So this is how music is a performing art, right? So that's why. So therefore, it was also necessary for these books, works on music, to give examples of, not in audio, yeah, obviously there was no audio recording at the time, but to give a notation of the songs and the compositions. And some of the important examples of compositions that Tulajaji is called, Tulaja gives are of Haridasas, specifically of Purandaradasa, Vyasaraya, and others. And he gives them with proper notation. He gives examples of Pada, which we call today as Pada or Nidevarnama, and also Gabhoga, and another type of compositions called Suladi. So these are the three important types of compositions. Almost all Haridasas have composed in, but very importantly, Purandaradasa, then Sripadraya, Vijayadasa, and Vyasatirtha. So these are the four important Haridasas, apart from others like Mahipati Dasaru, Jagannatha Dasaru, and Kanaka Dasaru, etc. So during this 18th century Tanjore, the Haridasa compositions very popular there. They were like now what we now sing as. And if you go to a concert, you will probably get to hear 50% of Tyagaraja compositions, right? Out of the other 50%, maybe you will hear 25% or half of the as Muthuswami Dikshita's compositions, and then you will have other composers such as Shyama Shastri or Mutte Bhagavatar, or even modern day composers such as Balmurali Krishna or Lalkodichi Jayaram. So during Tyagaraja's time, what were the songs that were sung? They were mainly the songs of Haridasas, Purandaradasa, and probably of Annamaya also. So he is a senior contemporary of Purandaradasa, or probably senior contemporary of Vyasaraya. So those were the songs that were sung, and we read in Tyagaraja's biographies that were written soon after his death, probably within a generation, maybe a couple of decades. After, I forget the date. That Tyagaraja's mother was singing Purandaradasa compositions, and those were sort of inspiration to Tyagaraja. And also, in one of his dance dramas, I forget which one it is, Prahalada Bhakti Vijaya or Nauka Charitram, I don't know. I don't remember now, but you can look it up. Tyagaraja actually praises, in the invocation verses, he mentions Purandaradasa as well as Narada and others, like in kind of Devata Stuti, because of his reverence to Purandaradasa. So obviously, the 18th century Tanjore had a lot of influence from the music that was left behind by Haridasas, as well as, let's say, Annamaya. There is not so much of difference between the composition style of Annamaya and Haridasas. They are all called padas. Until copper plates were found of Annamaya in Tirupati temple, again they were just carried from mouth to mouth without much record. In terms of Haridasas, most of the compositions that they sang are lost, sadly. In fact, after 200 years after Purandaradasa, Vijayadasa had a dream. That's what it said. I mean, it's we don't know how it happens, but great people have great dreams, right? So he dreamt of Purandaradasa asking him to actually go around and get all his works collected. So it's said that Vijayadasa went from door to door in the areas where Purandaradasa must have lived, must have went around, gone around, and then sang his songs. His songs were sung by householders, a lot of people. Wherever they were sung, he collected, and then that's how we have the list of song compositions that are available today. Purandaradasa is said to have composed 475,000 compositions. But what we have today are probably less than 1,500. Whether you believe the 475,000 number or not, it's very, very certain that somebody with the imagination of Purandaradasa has done thousands of compositions. There's no doubt about that. Even Tyagaraja, we have less than 800 compositions available today. But it is said he composed 24,000 songs, one for each shloka of Ramayana. So if there are exaggerations, that they are there only because of the merit of such great people. So neither did Tyagaraja say he was inventing any sort of music, nor did Purandaradasa. because we know from before Purandaradasa, we have Sripadaraya about 100 years or 85 years ago, before Purandaradasa was born. And Sripadaraya has composed a very kind of songs, a very kind of compositions as Purandaradasa has done. So he is one of the Adi Haridasas. In fact, some of the compositions that we see much later in music, such as features in music, such as including a raga mudra, meaning including the name of a raga to sing a particular charana of a song, or maybe a raga malike. These are the kinds of things that did not come until 18th century. But in a song of Sripadaraya, there's a faint indication. I mean, I cannot really claim that it is definitely so, but the way it is given is you can think that it was meant to be sung as a Ragamalika song. It's in a song called that starts as Lali Govinda Lali. There are three different charanas. There are more charanas. Most of the Haridasa songs had a minimum of three and going up to like 20, 25 charanas in some cases. This Lali Govinda Lali is a lullaby to Govinda or Narayana that has plenty of charanas. I don't know how many, I don't remember how many. But in that, there are three charanas. Very interestingly, in they say, Lalaneyaru Padidaru Ananda Bhairaviinda, Mahilayaru Padidaru Deva Gandhariinda, and then Kalyani Ragadinda. So there are three charanas that indicate that these charanas could have been sung in those ragas. You know, if you think of it, a raga mudre as a concept came much later. So Haridasas may have, I won't say must, but Sripada Raja could have thought about them, right? So if you see the names of Devagandhari, Kalyani, Ananda Bhairavi, those are the very same ragas that we are singing even today. So then, if somebody says that Karnataka Sangeeta or Carnatic was invented during Tyagaraja's time in 18th century, 18th century Tanjavur, I mean, there is no reason for you to believe that. You can always make claims, but claims have to be supported by facts, right? You can make an hypothesis, and that hypothesis becomes a truth when you have facts supporting those hypotheses. So even before Sripadaraya, we have probably Shanga Deva Sangeet Ratnakara, where in the 12th century, that is where probably Indian music had started to split into a northern and southern streams. Around that time. A little later, during Shivasharana's Vachanas, we get some indication that they might have been sung. Although a Vachana is a saying, it's not necessarily sung, it doesn't have a rhythm, it doesn't have a meter, but many of the Vachanas of in Kannada have some kind of rhythm, inherent rhythm. And some of the Vachanas actually talk about singing. That gives an indication that Vachanas were also sung. Yeah, we don't know whether they were sung as professional or concert pieces, but they were definitely sung. And apart from that, there were various other types of compositions that were sung, which can be seen from literary works. If you go to early Kannada, or it could be early Telugu, early Tamil, all these places you will find references to music and singing and instruments and all that, and different types of compositions. So the music, what we call Karnataka Sangeeta, has a long history. So one person has never invented any such music and anything such as Indian music, Karnataka Sangeeta or Hindustani, whichever it is. It is a stream. It's a stream that's flowing for thousands of years. I hope this little video is, dispel some of the myths that you may have heard. And I'm thankful to my friend who asked me this question. And he, in fact, has asked a few more questions about music, which I'll try to answer in subsequent videos. Thank you.